Good morning.
Here we go with another horrific attack. This one, and you know, it doesn't matter the weapon. It could be a gun, it could be a bomb, and in this case, it was a truck. Christine, this just was devastating.
Oh, incredibly devastating, and continues to be so as the death toll is rising.
This happened yesterday afternoon, and the reports first started coming in, and they said that just the initial reports talked about there were bodies everywhere. Literally, that's how people were describing it. And initially, they came out and said that there were maybe a dozen people that had died. And then the number grew, and then it grew to where are we now? We're like 75 people right now,
almost 85.
And it's and it includes a father and his 11-year-old son, an American. And it shows you that they'll use whatever they can get a hold of. How do you? I don't think there's any law in the world that can change this. We have to find these people, hunt them down, and kill them. And I'm not sure that there's anything else that. And then how do you find this enemy that doesn't have a traditional home base? This is the scary part of this. So I'm not sure what the answer is. Donald Trump, I was very uncomfortable with his initial, the bodies hadn't been counted, and Trump had already tweeted out, I'm not going to announce my VP tomorrow. Meanwhile, everybody knows basically who he's going to announce. At least the reports have leaked out.
Right.
And I don't know. I would have had. I guess I would have had the campaign make that announcement as opposed to him. But I don't know. Was I the only one uncomfortable with that?
Well, I'll tell you,
it seemed opportunistic to me.
I'm kind of glad actually that he's holding off on this because it's not that important. I guess
which is not that important to come out and tell everybody in the middle of the carnage when this whole thing is unfolding. That was I guess that's why I'm feeling uncomfortable about it.
Did you see what Gingrich said yesterday?
No.
Okay, Newt Gingrich, who we had discussed some of the outrageous things that Donald Trump says. Gingrich is now proposing, I'm glad he's apparently not going to be Trump's VP. He's proposing a loyalty test for Muslims. A loyalty test. And
what does that mean? It's out of Nazi Germany.
That he's saying Sharia is not compatible with Western civilization, which you could make that argument. But he, just the whole idea that there is a test, and if you fail the test, you get sent back to your home country.
Last night, after the attack in Nice, and as Manaski said, we're up to almost 85 people right now. The crowd was watching fireworks along a city street for Bastille Day, a celebration there. Here are some witnesses describing exactly what they saw. And folks, I'm sure you've heard all of this, but we'll play it. It's it's really tough to listen to.
We saw thousands of people running towards us. They were all screaming, and everyone was running in every direction. Seconds later, this giant white van came bolting down this road. Was just taking out people left, right, and centre. We began to run because everyone was frantically running because we had no idea what was actually happening.
We started running. See a lot of people ducking, looking for doorways, places to hide. There's another sound of shooting in the air. And so then we go into a nearby restaurant and hide in an alleyway that we could get to from the back of it.
I heard loud noises and people started screaming and shots being fired up in the air. And everyone started running in different parts.
When we were running away, apart from all the screaming, that we did hear shots fired, which I assume to be the police.
They say, though, that he began firing from the truck right after the fireworks had ended. And people thought in the beginning that was fireworks, but it really was him firing. And they also said that the vehicle was loaded with weaponry, but it was the truck that caused most of the damage. And that's the scary part of this, Christine. How do you legislate that? They're going to try, right? We're going to. There's no banning guns here. This is a truck, a large truck. Think of all the things in the world that exist today that could be used to hurt somebody and kill somebody.
Right. And what are they going to do? Block off the streets near any events that are taking place, and then, you know, somebody just uses a smaller truck.
Here's an eyewitness named Tony Molina, who was talking on CNN last night, was there.
You know, there's still the crowd of people when we walk out and hear the yelling. And then you just see this big white panel van. I can't see the driver, but it's just kind of going at different angles. So it kind of goes from left to right, continuing at about 25, 30 miles an hour. They were screaming and running everywhere. And, you know, the very sad part is there's still people I'm looking at right now that I believe are near their deceased family members. And again, I'd imagine a lot of these people are tourists. So we saw a lot of people on cell phones, I'm assuming trying to reconnect with whoever they were running with.
And one more eyewitness, Zainep Akar, describing the scene to CNN after the attack.
The music was very loud. Then I suddenly heard the crash and people shouting. When I went to the balcony, there were so many people on the ground. And then some gunfiring was started. Oh, the corpses are still, the people are still on the streets. I don't know. I don't understand how he went through because the road was blocked.
How do we know anything about this guy yet? There's very little information out there right now. I don't think there's really anything yet. But again, when you don't have a gun, you don't need a gun. You use a truck. Terrible story. A lot of local news going on, big things, and talk about shocking news that isn't anything to compare to this. But I don't know if you heard, but Mick Jagger is going to be a father again.
How old is he?
Is that shocking news? Mick Jagger in his early 70s is about to be a father. Christine has an update right now from the newsroom. 6:22.